Lost Jen. Before I go work out, I want to do a quick little series of videos. First one is how to talk to the police. There's one very important rule about talking to the police. I'm going to tell you exactly how you do it. You don't talk to the police. The first rule of talking to the police is you don't talk to the police. The second rule of talking to the police is you don't talk to the police. Now, what am I saying here? Is this some street mumbo jumbo where you shouldn't talk to the police? No, actually, it's a very well justified legal tactic, and any good lawyer worth their salt would recommend the same. There's just a few things we have to clear up about the police before we delve into this video. One of them, they are not obligated to put themselves in danger to protect you. Okay? As far as serving, we have something called an adversarial system, and a cop is ultimately there to make arrests and enforce the law. I mean, at least when they're on duty, you know? So their job is not to convict, that's up to the courts, but a lot of them do kind of blur the lines between just making the arrest and convicting. They want to secure the tightest case possible. In some cases, they're even going to the court proceedings to see what happens with the case. And obviously, we've all heard of stories of planted evidence and stuff like that. But what am I really saying here? If you've done something, especially if you've actually done something, if you've actually done something, you're not going to talk your way out of it with the police. You keep your mouth shut, you get a lawyer, and you deal with that in the courts. I mean, it doesn't even really matter the crime. In a domestic violence, you're going to be like, no, it wasn't that bad, officer, don't arrest me. There's nothing you're going to say to stop them from arresting you if they want. Another one, if you've been caught for something and you're being interrogated, don't talk to them without a lawyer, period. You're going to think you're going to talk your way out of it, and you're going to talk yourself into it. A lot of times, if they bring you in for questioning, that means they don't have enough to just straight up arrest you. So they're trying to get more. And this video is not how to coach people on how to commit crimes. It's to prevent people that haven't actually committed a crime from being arrested and having to deal with the cost of fighting it in court or the potential of going to jail. So where this can really go is if you're stopped on the street, the cop asks you what you're doing, what happened, did you see anything, and you're talking about, oh, I have nothing to worry about, I'm a good citizen, I'm going to talk to this cop. There's been cases where people have basically implicated themselves in the crime. I mean, if someone gives a description of somebody and it happens to be like you, there's plenty of people who have been jammed up over that. Then you're there talking to them. They're asking you, what are you doing here? Where'd you come from? Where'd you go? You're just going to eventually possibly implicate yourself. And that seems kind of like an extreme view. But when you get, let's say when you get pulled over, you just want to say the basics. You don't want to try to talk your way out of the ticket. Some people, they don't like to hand over their papers or whatever, but you should say, hello, officer. He's going to say, do you know why I pulled you over? And you never say yes. You always say, no, I do not know. Okay? And past that, you exchange the papers and you keep your mouth shut. You keep your mouth shut. You do not talk to the police. I mean, you walk by a cop, you could say, oh, nice weather out today, and then he could say, oh, yeah, what are you doing around here? And you think he's just being polite, but he's already opening the door to try to get something on you. You know, you could say something that doesn't sound believable, and then the questioning will continue until he starts making you stumble. Eventually, you smoked any marijuana today? You had any alcohol? You taken any drugs? You never know. You never know. I mean, I've been pulled over for fix-it tickets, and I've watched them fish hard. They fish hard. They're walking around the vehicle. They're looking in the windows, asking you where you're coming from, where you're going, what you're doing. And the more you talk, the worse off it is for you. You do not talk. Okay, there's a little bit of a difference. If you saw a crime, like an actual crime, and you want to give a statement, you're free to do so. But I've seen cases where people give a statement on a crime and they end up being implicated in it somehow. So I don't want to advise you on that. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving political or legal advice. But you don't talk to the police. You just don't do it. I could go on all day with reasons about why you don't do it, but I would implore you, please talk to a lawyer about this topic. And any good lawyer is going to tell you don't talk to the police. You're not going to settle your case on the sidewalk. You're not going to make the cop feel empathetic and let you go over a violent charge, over a criminal charge. Maybe over a little bit of weed, possibly maybe over a partying citation, maybe a public urination, something small like that. Sure, it's possible you might charm the cop out of it, but if it's anything serious, you're not going to talk your way out of it. Their job is to get the arrest, gather the evidence, and hopefully enough evidence for the court to convict or have a solid case. If they don't have a solid case, it might get thrown out. It might reduce the charge, offer you a plea deal, something like that. But you just don't talk to them. I don't even like talking to them, how you doing? Nice day out. I've seen it. I've seen it wreck people, get them tripped up, and it's no good. Another thing is, right, you have to understand this. The police can promise you things and not deliver. They can lie to you. They can tell you one thing and go back on it. They do it all the time. And pretty much any time you're talking to a cop, it's a psychological game. And trust me, it's one that most people aren't prepared to play. Everything they say is calculated to elicit a response, and every line of conversation is calculated to probe and make you stumble over your words. So you just don't do it. You just don't do it. Don't talk to the police. Lost Jen, I'm out.